Whenever the laws of any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action. It may be called the state police, state troopers, militia, the rangers, or the highway patrol. These are the stories of the men whose training, skill, and courage have enforced and preserved our state laws. In the field of law enforcement, there are many instances in which more than one agency is needed to protect the public against a specific criminal. 13 years ago, Tom Thornton was convicted in another state of the murder of his partner, Harold Sylvester, and sentenced to 20 years in prison. The motive was robbery. More than $500,000 in cash and securities was taken from the safe and never recovered. 10 days ago, with time off for good behavior, Tom Thornton was released.
You Thornton?
That's right.
I'm Matthews, Highway Patrol. The parole officer said I'd find you here.
Where'd you expect to find me? London, Paris, Rome?
Well, with $500,000, a man can go anyplace.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, then play it dumb. Let's go.
Well, let's go where?
You're square with the state for killing a man, but you're still on the hook for that money that was missing at the time of the murder.
Oh, we're back to that again.
Yeah, we're back to that. $500,000 cash and securities. That's not easy to forget.
You're talking in riddles.
About 8 days ago, the security started to show up. They checked with the original list.
Well, I didn't turn them in.
Let's find out. Come on.
Center City that you picked up Thornton. They want you to find out if he has an accomplice.
Okay, we can talk in my office.
I've got nothing to say.
Maybe you'll change your mind. Sit down. The Center City police tell me you can go back for another 7 years.
For a murder I didn't commit.
I'm not here to argue what a jury said. Now listen to me. You can play it tough, or you can be a nice guy and answer some questions. It's your play.
I'm sorry. What do you want to know?
You got to your brother's place, Sue, about 10 days ago. Is that right?
That's right.
You been to Linwood since you got out?
No.
Freeport?
No.
Amityville?
I haven't been to Amityville, Freeport, or Linwood.
Tell me, you know a fellow by the name of Herbert Stewart?
Never heard of him.
Maybe you know him under another name.
Now you're talking in riddles again. I don't understand what you're trying to say.
Securities who were missing at the time of the murder started turning up in Freeport, Amityville, and Linwood. They were turned in by a guy by the name of Herbert Stewart.
And you think I'm Herbert Stewart?
Either that or he was an accomplice in the original murder.
I didn't have an accomplice. I didn't murder my partner, and I don't know what happened to the money. I'm innocent. Oh, I know. You've heard that many times before from many people. But I am innocent.
Can I speak to you a minute?
Yeah. What?
Another teletype from Center City. More of the missing securities have turned up for redemption. Right here in Hempstead at the City Bank.
Tell him I'll be right over. Why does a crook always think he's smarter than the law?
Because the laws are administered by people, and people make mistakes. They made a mistake in my case. I'm not a crook, and I'm not a murderer. No matter what 12 men on that jury said.
Sorry, Mr. Thornton, I can't buy that. You kept your mouth shut for 13 years, just so you could collect $500,000. Let's see, roughly that figures to about, $70,000 a year for the time you were in the pen. $35,000 if you had a partner. That's a fair country salary.
13 years ago, my salary as president of the company was $50,000 a year. Why should I take a cut in salary? Plus a conviction for a murder I didn't commit.
We're going to find that out. Come on, let's go.
send them in. Come in, gentlemen.
I'm Dan Matthews. This is Mr. Thornton.
Sit down.
That's all right, thanks.
I understand from Officer Morris that you're here in regards to those missing securities.
Yeah, that's right. Do you know Mr. Thornton here?
I don't believe so. Are you a customer of this bank?
No?
What about the man that redeemed the securities?
Well, that was Herbert Stewart.
Is he a customer of the bank?
No.
How can you redeem securities for a man that's not a customer of the bank? A man you don't even know.
Well, those were call bonds. They're negotiable like money is. They can be turned in at any bank.
I see. How well do you know Stewart?
Not very well. I only met him once. Although I did have several phone conversations with him before he came in.
Describe him, will you?
Oh, a small, dapper man, bald, 53 or 4, 140 pounds, lame in the left arm, some kind of paralysis.
You sure it wasn't his right arm?
I believe it was.
And did he have a little thin mustache?
Yes, he did.
Anything else?
No, I only saw him once. That was 2 days ago.
If you remember anything else, let me know, will you?
I certainly will.
You must be Dan Matthews. I'm Pearsall of Center City.
Glad to know you.
Figured you were much too smart for this, Thornton.
In what way, Sergeant? Or is it Lieutenant?
It's Lieutenant. And I figured you'd wait a little while before you started cashing any of those securities that we couldn't find.
How did you ever make Lieutenant? Because of the work you did in my case? What happened to the bank?
Had a description of his accomplice, Herbert Stewart.
Good. None of the other bank managers was able to give us too good a description.
APB on Herbert Stewart. He's kind of a dapper guy, about 5'3", 5'4", 140 pounds. He's bald and got a very thin mustache. Well, this is important. He's got a lame right arm.
Recognize the description, Lieutenant?
Are you sure?
That's the description Carter at the bank gave us.
I don't believe it.
Do you want to tell him, Lieutenant? Or shall I give him the good news?
Well, that description fits Harold Sylvester. The man Thornton was supposed to have murdered 13 years ago.
What's the angle?
I told you I was innocent. I told everybody I was innocent, but nobody'd believe me. Now do you believe me, Lieutenant?
How'd you get a conviction for murder without the body?
We had all the evidence of murder. Bloodstains, dentures, fingernail. And we found $5,000 worth of missing securities in Thornton's basement.
What do you plan to do now, Lieutenant?
Why don't you go back to your brother's place? We'll find Stewart.
You mean you'll try to find Stewart? Or let's call him Sylvester. Well, I'll be looking for him, too. And when I find him, I'm going to kill him.
You're what?
And there's nothing you can do about it. Because 13 years ago, I was convicted for the murder of Harold Sylvester. I paid the price for my crime. And I figure the state owes me this murder.
Look here, Thornton. You're not living in a jungle. There are laws that'll take care of Sylvester.
Nothing you can say will make me change my mind. When I find him, I'm going to kill him.
Why don't you take it easy? We'll find him. And he's liable for the same punishment you received.
How about giving me back the 13 years I lost?
You can collect damages.
From Sylvester? How much can he have left if he's forced to cash securities?
I'm not going to let you kill a man, Thornton.
I'm going to get Sylvester. I don't want damages. I don't want money. All I want are my 13 years back. And my friends. And my business and my reputation and all my dreams of tomorrow. Can you get them for me?
I'm going to stop you, Thornton.
I knew Sylvester for 15 years. I know what he'll do in any situation. I know what he's doing in this one. So long, gentlemen.
Put a tail on him right now.
I've been on a force for 25 years. The one nightmare I've always had was sending an innocent man to jail.
Yeah, I know how you feel. Well, look at it this way. It's your job to find evidence. The DA is to build a case. The jury to bring in a verdict and the judge to pass sentence.
It was my evidence that built the case. Every time Thornton yelled that he was innocent, we yelled back that he was a liar. We called him the brain because we could never collect the rest of the securities and the money. But now I don't know anymore.
We're going to have to find Sylvester before Thornton really becomes a murderer. Come on.
The first report we received of someone cashing securities was here, Linwood. 24 hours later, Freeport. 2 days later, Amityville. And today, here, Hempstead.
Those towns cover an area about 1,000 miles in 3 states. Wait a minute.
Oh, you saw that too?
Yeah, if Stewart or Sylvester's got a base of operation, he moves out from there. That should put him right about here.
Glen Falls.
Yeah. Contact Glen Falls. Tell him a man answering Stewart's description might be living in that area. Then get in touch with Center City. Have him get a photo of Sylvester over to Glen Falls right away. Tell him I'll be there in about 2 hours. You got it? Right.
It's for you.
Oh, thanks. Matthews. What's that? Tell him to keep at it. Right. Thornton just got off the bus in Glen Falls. Now, if Stewart's not Sylvester, he's got to be an accomplice. And I don't buy the idea that Sylvester's alive.
That description fitted Sylvester too strongly. I'm convinced now that we're looking for Sylvester.
Why did Thornton get off the bus at Glen Falls at this particular time, and what makes him think Sylvester's here?
Thornton's no fool. Remember, he and Sylvester built a big business out of nothing in less than 5 years. You don't do that on luck. He could have figured Sylvester's whereabouts from the map, just as we did.
Owns a car. A garage in this area might give us a lead.
I still don't get it. For 13 years, he stayed undercover. Now he comes out into the open. Why? Does he think we'd forget about the securities and the money?
Maybe he thinks we'll tie the redemption of the securities in with Thornton. Figures he's safe.
2371 to 2150.
2150, bye.
Thornton's canvassing real estate offices and asking if anyone answering Sylvester's description has bought or rented a hilltop house.
Stay with it.
10-4.
2150 to headquarters.
Headquarters by.
Check the realty board. Give a list of all real estate brokers in this area. See if anybody answering Sylvester's description has bought or rented a hilltop house recently. 10-4?
10-4.
Of course. Hilltop houses. Sylvester was named the king because he always wanted to stay on top of the heap. His house in Center City is on top of the highest hill. The company building is the tallest in town, and Sylvester has the penthouse suite.
You asked me if I'd sold or rented a hilltop house. Well, this being a one-man office, I advertise all my listings in the local paper. Well, about a year or so ago, I had a listing for a hilltop house, and I rented it the day the paper came out.
Who'd you rent it to?
Oh, wait a minute. Now, let me check my file. Here it is. Mr. Herman Sawyer.
You remember what he looked like?
You've got me. This chap called on the phone and said he'd rent it. And I asked him if he didn't want to see it first. He said no. If it's the highest hilltop house, he wanted it. And then he said he'd send me a check for the year's rent in the mail. And he wanted me to go and open the house and leave a lease there for him to sign, which I did. I got the signed lease in the mail the next morning. And he still lives there. The thing that makes me remember it, it's the first time I've never seen one of my clients. That answer your question?
Oh, well, not quite. Where's this house located?
Where Willow Road crosses Emerald Drive.
Headquarters to 2150. 2150 by.
Sergeant Garvey has lost Thornton. Also, real estate broker E.D. Chrisman reports rental of Hilltop House to Mr. Herman Sawyer on Willow Road near Emerald Drive.
Sawyer, Stewart, and Sylvester. Contact Garvey. Have him meet me at Willow and Emerald. 10-4?
10-4.
Checkmate. Hello, Harold.
Tom!
Any sign at all?
Just got here.
Let's take a look.
Hold it. I got here first like I said I would. Now go back to your car. You can't save him.
Don't be a fool, Thornton.
Don't you be a fool, Matthews. I've got Sylvester tied to the chair, and I've got his gun. And I'm going to kill him, inch by inch, a little at a time, just the way I died during those 13 years. Go back to your cars. I'll let you know when it's all over.
Could be bluffing, but we can't take that chance.
Let him think he convinced us. lobbed tear gas in from here without any trouble. Tear gas won't stop him from pulling the trigger.
In Thornton's present condition, he'll shoot if we try any of the conventional methods.
Yeah, but we got to get to him.
How? This is the only approach to the house. The other side drops down the hill.
You can't get in the front door, that's for sure. I'll try the back. You keep him busy.
Go ahead and shoot.
You'd like that. Nice and quick. Well, I've waited 13 years, and it's not going to happen that fast.
What are you going to do?
What do you think I should do to get full value for 13 years? What would you do?
You always did want the most for your money. Always the cautious one. Playing it close to the vest.
And you always had to be the king. The top of the heap. You even had to have a house on top of a hill. You know what you have? An emperor's complex. Well, the king is dead. Or you will be. Soon. I was just testing. Stay back.
I don't believe you.
Tell him.
Don't let him kill me! Don't let him kill me!
There's nothing anybody can do to stop me. How does it feel to know you're going to die?
You won't get away with it.
I didn't. They convicted me of your murder. And now I'm going to give them the evidence they need. Your body.
Thornton! Thornton!
I told you to get away from here. Now this is your last chance. If you're not out of here by the time I count 10, I'm going to kill him. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, we're going.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I told you not to try anything or I'd kill him. Now get away from him. Don't make me kill you, too.
Give me the gun, Thornton. You're no killer.
He's mine. I paid 13 years of my life for him. And I'm going to collect. I told you I'd shoot. Don't you believe me?
All right, Pearsall, come on in. Sorry, Thornton, but you're under arrest.
Why?
You were carrying a gun. For you, that's illegal. Let's go.
You saved my life.
I didn't come here to save you. Help Pearsall. Until then, remember, no matter how new, the safest device in your car is you. This is Broderick Crawford saying, see you next week.